Welcome to the Culture Magazine here on I-24 News. I'm Oded Grober. Thank you so much for joining me. Today on our program, a conversation with Israeli Arab author Ayman Sikseck about identity and compassion. A festival in Poland dedicated to Jewish culture. And we'll take a look at this year's San Diego ComicCon. We begin with Ayman Sikseck, as a journalist and an author who lives right here in Jaffa. In these difficult days of conflict, we invited Ayman to talk to us a little bit about bridging Arab and Israeli identities and finding, hopefully, some empathy in this whole situation. Thanks for coming in, Ayman.
Thank you, Oded.
I'd like to begin. You wrote a very beautiful status on Facebook. With your permission, I'll read a part of it. You see the images from Gaza, and you're horrified. And then your best friend is called to reserve duty, and you're worried about him, waiting for his messages, screening horror scenarios in your head in which he isn't coming back. You tell him to take care of himself, but where do you stand when you warn him? Who are you when you worry for him? Your mother has relatives in Shajaiya. Yesterday, she couldn't fall asleep again. And you think about his mother that can't fall asleep because of him, and about this sad farce in which you are disgusted by the bloodbath in Gaza, and at the same time hope for the safety of the soldiers. And you're not sure if your heart is expanding to include more of what's going on around you, or if it has completely lost its way. Powerful words and ideas, and I think it really shows what it's like to be an Arab Israeli. Is that what you hope to achieve when you wrote this?
That is what I hope to achieve, but I think what I've learned from the comments that I received to this post is that there's this kind of conflict in almost every sector in Israeli society. You see this in Jews, in the left-wing Jews in Israel. They can be at one point opposed to the continuation of the operation in Gaza, and on the other hand, supportive of the army and Israel's right to defend itself. So I think this contradiction is there, a version of it in all kinds of sectors in Israel. I was hoping to communicate mine, and I learned about so many others. I think in some way that's what it means to be an Israeli for me. It's contradiction. It's trying to hold several things in your hand at one time, hoping sometimes helplessly to balance them.
Yeah. Do you think that people are, when they read this, are they more accepting of these torn identities, of these contradictions that are within us?
Well, I think for a lot of them it was a huge surprise. The reaction was largely positive, even though there were some that were on the other side of the spectrum. But yes, I do feel that on the large part, it made people reconsider things.
Well, it has a lot of compassion, which is something I feel is lacking nowadays in what people are saying and writing.
Absolutely. I think we're missing a little bit more of our ability to contain other views. I mean, this happens every time in Israel when there's a deep conflict or some kind of national crisis. You see the dialogue turning towards being a monologue, really.
Right.
Everybody is required to unite around one certain narrative.
Yeah. And it's not just, it's of course in the political realm it exists,
Absolutely.
But also we see it on Facebook, we see it where people speak out, and it's not that different.
It's not that different. And you see artists that dare to speak out against what's going on in Gaza, and they're ostracized, and they're criticized heavily. It's a shame, I think. It's for me, it communicates the idea that somehow someone out there thinks that Israeli identity can't withstand different views. It's a shame. It can.
I think so too. How do you think we got to this place?
It's been years of, electing certain people who promote a very certain narrow kind of dialogue, which I think has prepared us for this situation. both in political terms and in cultural terms.
Right.
And in a way, this has become mainstream. Compassion is no longer mainstream.
Yeah. Now, if we do focus our discussion on the Israeli Arabs or Israeli Palestinians, it's it's even the title can't be agreed on. It seems like it's harder and harder for this minority to live in Israel and have a normal life. Mm-hmm. You're an Israeli Arab from Jaffa. Can you tell me a little bit about what it feels like?
Well, it varies. And in Israel, I feel like in recent years, and especially this year, it's become increasingly hard. Mm-hmm. I think it's because within Israeli society, there's this tendency to blur the lines between identities of Arabs from different places, mm-hmm. whether it's the Palestinians who are in the territories or Arabs within Israel. There's this idea that maybe they're all the same. And I think,
we've seen Israeli Arabs who do identify with the Palestinian struggle.
That's true, but I think identifying doesn't make you necessarily a danger to Israeli dialogue or society. I think I remember the days of the bombings, and now with Protective Edge, it becomes increasingly difficult. I mean, I need to go to Jerusalem twice a week for a job that I'm doing there, and once the protests started a few weeks ago, I was advised not to go by a very good friend from Jerusalem. And of course I went eventually, but for me, even the idea that
you have to give it a second thought.
Yes, that right now there are places where maybe you shouldn't go is an extremely scary and worrying one. Yeah.
Well, that does also exist on the other side. I mean, there are certain areas in Israel that as a Jewish Israeli guy, you shouldn't maybe go to.
Right, but major cities like the capital, it's a big deal. And right there, I think the difference is that with these protests that we've seen, death to the Arabs, it felt like this was becoming legitimate. Yeah. And that was very, very troubling, of course.
When we look at the future, are you able to remain optimistic? Do you think that we're heading in a right direction? Where are we going?
Well, I practice a very safe kind of optimism. I think things will get better eventually, but unfortunately, I think they'll get worse first.
Okay, so if you think things can get worse still before they get better, I guess that's some sort of optimism. Ayman Sikseck, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you, Oded.
In Krakow, Poland, the Jewish Culture Festival has been taking place for 24 years, bringing together artists from around the world to the iconic Jewish quarter of Kazimierz. This year, special attention was given to Eastern Jewish culture. David Gombin and Pazit Dank went there and brought back these sights and sounds.
More than 16,000 people gathered in one of the main squares in Krakow, Poland, for Shalom on Shiroko Street, the highlight of the Krakow Jewish Culture Festival. For the 24th year, the city plays host to 10 days of concerts, lectures, and workshops in the heart of the old Jewish quarter of Kazimierz, making this festival one of the largest of its kind. Founded in 1988, when the communist regime was in decline, the festival has evolved much since its conception. One of the veterans, Frank London, trumpet player and founder of the American group Charismatics, still remembers the early days.
When I first came here, they were focusing very much on Ashkenazic music, on Yiddish language, Yiddish songs, some Polish stuff, but mostly really the Ashkenazic Yiddish music, trying to really recapture the culture that was right in this place. And then a number of years back, they started really looking towards Israel and Israeli culture, and not only Israeli, but also Mizrahi, all the other Jewish, the Sephardic musics.
Eastern, or Mizrahi culture, is one of the themes highlighted this year. Among the groups performing in Krakow is Israeli Neta El Kayam, and her ensemble. She sings traditional Jewish Moroccan songs, but also her own original compositions.
The amazing thing is that this music speaks to both audiences, the Jewish audience and the Muslim Moroccan audience. It brings them together. And also in Krakow, it's a music that seems to speak to everyone.
This is a special concert for the singer, her first in Poland in front of an audience discovering a new type of music.
First of all, I think for them it's very exotic and brings new kinds of sounds. But beyond the music, I don't think there are many people who are even aware of the existence of a Moroccan Jewish community in Israel.
While Netta prepares to go on stage, 20,000 spectators are waiting enthusiastically.
Actually, I'm waiting to see Jeff Vasquez, who was running the workshops. But apart from that, we just love the whole Shalom from Shaloka. Every single one is great. So, okay, yes, nothing in particular, and everything in particular.
A lot of people are coming here to Kashmir. The atmosphere is really open. People are having fun and discovering new music. It's great.
It was a successful concert for Netta El Kayam, immediately followed by another performance. The All Stars Orchestra, gathering all the performance both from East and West.
There is something in klezmer music which corresponds with a lot of things in our music that I find very moving. It moves me a lot. There are a lot of ululations, for example, and quick shifts.
So we really have people learning all things and really, learning how to be traditional, authentic, and also how to combine things. And it's this ability to really be in a culture and to listen and to respect each other. I think this is maybe the biggest thing.
It seems like a strange mixture at first, but it's much more natural than it appears. A memorable mix of genres that will remain etched in Netta's memory.
It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, something extraordinary, and I saw that this music really connects people. It makes me believe in my goals and want to continue.
The closing night attracted nearly 20,000 people, record-breaking attendance for the festival, which also breaks the boundaries of musical genres.
And now we leave all of this behind us, and we're going to talk to Avi Rosentzvi about something
close to my heart.
Close to your heart.
Close to my heart.
To provide a little bit of escapism for everyone else here.
Yeah, we're talking about San Diego ComicCon, which took place this weekend.
Yeah.
Nerd Christmas, basically.
Nerd Christmas.
Yeah, the loveliest time of the year. I have a confession to make. I've never been to San Diego ComicCon.
Which is maybe why you love it so much.
But I've been to New York, so New York ComicCon.
Okay,
so
New York ComicCon.
So yeah, it's the
but
biggest.
This is like the biggest one.
It's the biggest gay convention of the year. 130,000 people this year.
Unbelievable.
That's a lot of costumes.
Uh-huh.
A lot of costumes.
A lot of superheroes.
It became, in the last few years, not much of a comics convention as much as a pop culture convention. Mm-hmm. It has everything, young adult novels. It has a lot of big Hollywood movies, toys, everything. It's a huge place, to get 130,000 people in there. Hall H is the biggest venue there. It's like where they have the rock star sort of thing where you have the cast of Avengers standing there. But it only seats about 6,500 people.
That's it?
Yeah, but there were 10,000 people camping outside. There were lines stretching, So it's getting a little bit cramped. I don't know. It's not my style. I'm waiting for it to get a little bit less.
You would have gone before it got cool.
Yeah, before it got so cool.
But it might not. Is it that cool still?
Well, it depends on how you define cool. For a few years, big Hollywood studios courted the geeks. They came there with huge presentations, flying the cast in there. Now it's they're kind of moving on because it's not a big selling point anymore, right. But what we did see there, we had Batman versus Superman, the release of the new film.
So we have some more images.
Yeah, they showed
controversial Batman.
They showed Ben Affleck. Affleck. We saw our first glimpse of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And I think she's too skinny. I don't know what to tell you.
You still think she's too skinny?
Too skinny. No hint of the red, blue, and white of the American flag. Because she's not American. She's Amazonian. The other thing we saw is Avengers: Age of Ultron. Our first look at it, we see a lot of Ultron's robots here. You have no idea who he is.
I don't.
It was the third biggest film in history, Avengers, and yet people have no idea what we're talking about, basically.
Yeah, because it was, I don't know, they kind of like, it made a lot of money, but not a lot of sense.
A lot of money, we'll put you on the poster. So yeah, it was revealed that Josh Brolin, the actor, is going to be in it. So
all right, good for them. That's still going on. A lot of fun. Thank you, Ava.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us as well. Please join us again tomorrow for another edition of Culture. Bye bye.